Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam. Joining me once again, it's Matt.
Hey, you mate, you alright?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you doing? Let's kick this off most importantly, because last week, you were still with COVID, but doing okay. The recovery going well, my friend?
Yeah, I feel a lot better. I'm back to work. The only thing I'd say is I went back to work yesterday and it hit me how tired I was feeling.
Yeah, man, that really wiped me out. When I had it, because obviously I was very unwell, and touch wood, and luckily you never went to the extreme I did. I'm such a drama queen. You know? Oh no, I've got this.
That was your rugby nickname, Drama Queen, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, here comes Drama Queen. Yeah, it was that or Fun Bus.
I'm sure there's not one rugby player that's got that nickname.
I don't know, mate. I played with a few.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah, but no, no, I can't rattle off rugby nicknames. Not like we're 1 minute into the show.
Right.
I'm kicked off YouTube again. Oh, by the way, last week YouTube edited us for serious foul language. Apparently, I dropped the 2 C-bombs and I didn't realise. So for the YouTube edition of the show, they're gone.
Oh, right, fair enough.
Basically, you just hear me go, "Oh, what a." Yeah. But to me that kind of works anyway. Everyone knows what I said. I was talking about Donald Trump. What else are you going to say? But yeah, so I'm glad you're doing better. And yeah, the fatigue thing was evil, man. That really messed me up, because the worst part was all through your life. I mean, we're not too dissimilar in age. You get a cold, you work through, you push yourself through. You get the flu, as you come out the other side, you push yourself through. With this, you hit a wall.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow. I had this thing where I was like sat in my chair and I had that feeling of, if I shut my eyes, I'm going to go to sleep.
I'm going to
nod
off.
What the hell is that? You know, I am not 60, 70 years old. Come on, give me a break.
I think the worst thing for me was that, I know it sounds ridiculous, because like I had like horrible like temperature for a few days, like really extreme one way or the other. But the thing that really that sticks in my mind is losing my taste and smell.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It was
Especially
horrible.
If you like your food.
Yeah, it just takes the complete and utter joy out of eating. Like completely, there's nothing to enjoy about eating food if you can't taste it.
No, I do. You're completely right. It's amazing how much your sense of smell is tied in with your sense of taste. I mean, it's obvious that you lose them both with this. It's clearly affecting a similar thing, so there must be tied in. But my neurobiology degree's in the post. But so yeah, we had a lot of feedback on last week's show. I say a lot of feedback. Literally, it was the most emails I've ever had on a show. We average anywhere between 10 and 20 emails every week, and typically it's talking about small snippets of the show in terms of, oh, you mentioned this, and someone's like got an opinion on that, and I like that. I like interacting on that level. So if you've ever thought about something we've said on the show and you thought, oh, I'd like to go further on that, then do genuinely drop me an email. I quite enjoy it, because I'm a football nerd. I'm a nerd in a lot of senses, really. So when people bring up things, I'm like, oh, that's good. Yeah, let's dive into that. This week, by far the most. Give me 1 second. I'm going to load the email inbox now while we're talking. But I think we neared 100 emails.
Do you know what, Sam? You still got to show me how to open my emails.
I'm not even going to talk to you. But some of these copied you in, by the way. So
when you
do finally get it, yeah, you'll get to read some of the.
I'll have a look.
I'll tell you one thing I will point out is the ones that copied you in were generally very nice. They were asking how you were.
Okay.
So right, here we go. Yeah, 97. Yeah, so I wasn't far wrong with 100.
Wow.
97 in the inbox. And I clear it every week, so I reply to people and then I clear them. So of the 97, I'd estimate 7 were nice.
97?
Yeah. And they were basically all like, oh, can you, is Matt okay? He sounded okay, but, obviously these things can go up and down, so hopefully he's well, and which was really nice. And a couple of people resonated with what I'd said about, the COVID outbreak and sort of my feelings on it. But the vast majority, and I'm not going to name anyone by name, but if you're listening and you emailed in with quite a vitriolic opinion at me, you're going to know I'm talking about it. And the reason why I'm not going to name you is because there's kind of this thing in the internet and social media and everything, trolling. And I genuinely can't decide if these emails are people deliberately trying to be snarky and nasty so I'd read them out, or whether these people actually believe it. And the reason why I'm on the fence on this is because some of it I find quite hard to believe that anyone in 2021 would think this. But then again, I spend a lot of time moderating our Facebook page, and I say that to myself a lot.
There's a lot of people who think the Earth is flat, Sam. That's all I'm going to say. In 2021.
Yeah, that's a valid point, yeah. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that kind of hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? My favourite thing about that is they made a documentary to prove it, and they ended up proving the Earth was round in the documentary. You can find it anywhere. It's on YouTube. Literally, the guy goes, right, we set up all these cameras. Now, if the Earth is round, then they'll be off by like point whatever degrees. And then about 5 minutes later, they're off by point whatever is degrees. He goes, well, that doesn't make sense. And like every scientist in the world's going, yes, it does, jackass.
Do you know, Seb? So I was going to say, Seb had a good point to make. He said, well, if the Earth is flat and all the other planets are round, why is that? Why is every other planet and every other star and everything round, but we're the only flat thing in the universe? I'm like,
he's got a valid point. But it's probably a conspiracy. All of them are flat as well. They
just
don't want us to know.
There you go.
Yeah, the man doesn't want us to know. So it was an interesting read, to be honest with you. I got the one guy who hates me every week, and he didn't email in, or at least he did, he got lost in the
irony, Sam.
Yeah, I hope he's all right. I'm worried about you now. Yeah, this guy tells me how much he hates me every week, and then listens again. Which, yeah. But anyway, thanks, Mum. So it's kind of weird. It is very odd for me because, like I said, I don't want to go into the details too much of them, but we did have a batch. And now, obviously, I shared last week that when I had it, I was very unwell. I had it in the summer, and for a good few days, I was in hospital thinking this isn't going to end well for me, or this is it. And wonderful people, and I recovered. It took a long time for me to recover. I really struggled, and I got emails basically telling me that I'm making that up.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure where to go with that. It's kind of like people like you make stuff like this up to scare people. I'm like, well, people like me, look, I do a podcast. Like, I'm a fan of Tottenham, and I do a podcast talking about Tottenham. I'm not a big media influencer. I don't I don't get the kind of people like me thing. But yeah, that would be a very strange thing to talk about. What? So I don't get that. I don't get where people are coming from that, and that's why I'm kind of like, maybe you're saying this to troll and be funny, or I don't get where that's coming from. Another person sent me some health advice, which was basically telling me all the different vitamins and things that I could take to make sure that I never catch it again. Approved by top scientists, so thank you for that.
No mention of the vaccine.
No. evil in a syringe. That the top scientist appears to be a guy on YouTube.
There you go.
I mean, they sent me a link, right? And I thought, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to have a look at it. So I've had a look, and there's a guy on there who claims to be a top scientist. I googled his name and his qualifications, and the guy's making it up. He's an actor. It took me 5 minutes to find that out. And I've got people sharing this YouTube link with me, which, by the way, has had like 90 million views.
It's insane,
It's
isn't it?
like, what the shit? But anyway, so we got a lot of emails like that, but the vast majority of it was just angry at me and you for expressing our opinion on all of this last week. Stick to talking about Tottenham. I don't listen to this to be lectured.
So are we like with the new Gary Linekers?
Yeah, apparently.
Because that's the thing.
Stick to football, mate. Yeah.
That's the thing. So because we do this podcast, we're only allowed to talk about the podcast.
Apparently it's the Spurs news podcast, not the mainstream media bias podcast.
But
someone actually said that.
But the thing is, look. It's relevant. It's very relevant, especially at the moment.
That's why we're talking about it. That's the thing. If like everything was going ahead, no one was problematic, and Tottenham last week weren't literally shut down due to a COVID outbreak, we wouldn't be talking about it.
No,
like
completely.
I don't come on here and talk about my personal life unless like there's a crossover.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come on and go, oh bloody hell, I broke my leg 2 weeks ago. Let's talk about leg breaks and was it possible? It doesn't freaking happen.
No.
It just COVID outbreak at the club. So we discussed it. We aired our views, and I don't get it. But yeah, so thank you for the feedback. We even got the podcast rated 1 star several times on iTunes, which has never happened. So it kind of feels to me like people they've never been motivated. Like all the times we've done stuff that's made people laugh, all the times we've done stuff and people have messaged in and stuff like that, none of these people have ever been motivated to go, do you know what, I'm going to go onto iTunes, create an account on iTunes and rate the show, because that'd help the guys out.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine by me. It's like, you know what, if you got time to do that, thank you, we appreciate it. If you don't, you don't, whatever. But people did think to themselves, oh, they've angered me, their view's different than mine, therefore they suck. and they then took the time out of their day to go and write reviews like preachy bastards.
I love it.
One person on Amazon Music described me as a carrot crunching fucking idiot who doesn't know anything about anything. Well, you know, again, thank you.
It's like it's a compliment, Sam.
Yeah, seriously, I need to eat more carrots.
They're healthy for you.
So I need to add them to my diet. But yeah, like I said to you before we started recording, I was in two minds about mentioning it at all. One lady, by the way, was really vitriolic and really quite nasty about me personally. To the point that I had to look her up to see if she was an ex, you know, like maybe I'd forgotten you, you know. Yeah, I had no idea. So she kindly on her email gave me all the details because she sent it from her work email.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I was able to find her LinkedIn, her Facebook page, everything really. Her employer's details, and I gotta be honest with you, if you're listening right now, I'm in two minds about forwarding this to your employer because you said some pretty messed up shit.
Yeah, I think they'd be pretty quite interested to see that email, wouldn't they?
Well, I'm sure they would. I mean, we could probably throw some anti-Semitism in there from what she said to me.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, let's. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But if you're listening, you know who you are, and maybe you should reach out again, and we should have a dialogue because. What the fuck?
It started badly, Sam, but you never know. It might be you say you make sure she's an ex. I mean, if it starts badly, but if it improves, then it could be a potential future partner.
Yeah, to be honest with you, mate, I just find women who hate me and buy them houses now. It cuts out the whole middleman. So. But anyway, let's move on from that. See, and now we're talking about my dating life. That's not good for the podcast. That's a different show. It's the Sam show, Sam News podcast. We'll start that one in the new year. Just basically me go, why does anyone like me? 45 minutes followed by 15 minutes when I'm drunk and I just sing.
I love it, mate. I'll listen. I'll subscribe.
My yeah, thanks, man. That's support. That is. Yeah, I'll subscribe. I need a laugh. The guy who hates me on this would love that show. Oh my god, mate, you would love. Yeah, talk to me. Send me an email. I'll link you up.
You probably get loads of compliments from him. You'd be like the complete reverse. He'll just tell you how much he loves it every week.
Wouldn't that freak me out? Yeah, I'm there basically running myself down. He's going, hey, don't do that. That's my job. Yeah, come on. I know nobody loves you, but it's fine. I love you. Maybe that's it. Maybe he loves me.
There you go, see?
Yeah,
it's a fine line, they say, don't they?
They do. Maybe he's dealing with his repressed homosexuality and he's latched on to me. And now he's dealing... I'm going to get so much shit this week. Well, to be honest, I'm kind of desensitized. This last week was kind of a real wake-up to me. Like, wow, that's crazy. And also on our Facebook page, because... obviously, due to the ongoing situation at the club, we've been posting the updates. It is Spurs news. It's not like we've suddenly decided, hey, we're going to push some, pro-vaccine. Whether that's my opinion, your opinion, or anything like that. I said this last week. Whatever. Have your own view on stuff. It's not my job to force you or to educate you. That's on you.
Yeah, of course.
But at the moment, there is news relating to Tottenham that is around COVID, so we've been posting about it. I know you tend to avoid the comments now because, rage. But,
Yeah.
man, it is really quite eye-opening and really kind of bizarre to me, like really bizarre. I mean, we've got a comment in when I asked for comments and questions this week from a listener. So even that one, I was kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he was being very polite, I think, but it just, again, I don't get it. I don't get the big one, and I'll say this, and then we'll move on. The big one is, it's not the solution to this is stop testing. And I'm kind of like lost with this because this, and a few people, and I tried to engage, and so it's kind of my own fault because what I should do is look at that, laugh to myself, and move on.
Yeah.
That's what I should do.
Yeah.
But I find myself, possibly through some sort of morbid curiosity, I'm like, you are what you've said then is so batshit. I need to engage with you because I need to find out, one, if you're someone who's escaped the home and I need to call the home so they can find you, or two, you can maybe explain, because sometimes you write things in quite a short, sharp way that when people explain, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I don't agree with you, but I now understand your point of view. So I'm like, okay, I need this. I need to find out. I need to kind of understand this point of view. Man, I engaged with several people on this. I still don't get it. There's apparently top research by top guys out there that these tests constantly bring up false positives and things like that. And I'm like, okay. But this is why you do this test, and then you get it confirmed by this test, and then you probably, with the football players, for example, then do an additional test as well because the club are paying for it. So, just to be clear, you're saying that if you test positive on a test, I think it's perfectly sensible to get it back, especially if you don't have symptoms. But
it's just,
I'm lost. I'm kind of like, it's like with people, like a woman's pregnant, you do a pregnancy test. If a woman's surprised by this, she's going to do another one. And then she'll do another one. And then she'll go to a doctor and do a pregnancy test. Does the woman then turn around and go, all these tests are flawed, I'm just putting on weight for no apparent reason, la 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 la, I'm going to rule my life? No, because that's not how it works.
See, a good example with me would be what happened in my situation. So, not last Saturday, the Saturday before, I've woken up feeling like death, and I know both the children, they've got like almost half of the children in their classes, so like it's spreading like wildfire. Yeah. So it looks like I've caught it off one of the children. So let's all do a lateral flow test. I come up positive. Both the children come up negative, and I'm like, well, that's weird. But then I think that it's a little stick that I've got two relatively young children who just balk at the idea of this stick going down their throat or up their nose. Yeah. So I probably haven't. So the test hasn't probably been done accurately. So let's book a PCR test. Go to the test centre. Suddenly, you haven't got a very thin stick. You've got almost like a cotton bud. Far more comfortable with the children. So, and also the guys at the test centre said, look, don't worry about putting it down their throat. Just stick it up their nose. You'll get the result by putting it up their nose, right? So, far more comfortably, we come back all positive. So we're all positive. Now, the two children's initial lateral flow test was negative, so that's why it's like the point you're trying to make. You test and you test again. They're not going to be 100% accurate. Nothing is. But at some point you'll get. I mean, you're going to get an accurate result somewhere.
Like for example, if you've got symptoms and you're feeling that, and say you got mild symptoms, you're like, this could be a cold.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do this test. If this comes back negative, you're going to be like, oh, okay, great. And it's easing. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get that kind of we should stop testing thing. It's like, well, what, we should stop testing for everything? Like, we do screenings and stuff for like cancer for people. What, we should stop that because if we stop testing, people will stop getting cancer?
It's just all it is. It's this: put your finger in your ears and pretend it's not happening and it'll all go away. That is thinking, isn't it? I can't help but think that's what people are thinking when they say these things.
You hit the nail on the head, I think, last week when you said it's kind of like these people don't have any experience of anyone around them having this and having it badly. So, like, if your only experience of you personally or people that you know, and all you've had is asymptomatic or mild symptoms, you're going to be in that kind of, it's just a cold.
Yeah.
Why are we making it? I mean, one guy wrote on it, oh, come on, we don't do this for the flu. I'm like, well, no, but there's a difference in transmission rates, and that's what the problem is. You know, the flu. If I've got the flu and I sneeze in a room of 10 people, 2, maybe 3 people will catch it at the most. If I've got COVID and I sneeze in a room of 10 people, the odds are with this latest variant, everyone's got it.
And the thing is, the flu originates from a pandemic. 100 years ago, and people get vaccinated, like the elderly and the
don't bring the vaccines into this. They're evil vaccines. Bad science. They don't work. If they worked, we wouldn't need boosters. Saying the people that have acknowledged the fact that every year there's a flu booster.
Yeah, I just every year. I know I mentioned it last, and I don't want I don't want to spend like last week, spend the whole podcast like you don't either. But I'll just reiterate what I think I said last week, which is if 99.9% of the experts, of the people that have spent years and years studying it, if they're all saying that have the vaccination. And the counter argument is from an actor who's put a white coat on and pretending he's a doctor, telling you that it's a load of rubbish. Who are you going to go with? It's not on equal footing. The two opinions aren't on equal footing. Don't for 1 second. And do you know what? Send me emails. I don't care. If you genuinely think your stupid, pathetic opinion that's based on some crackpot on YouTube is on level footing with experts, people who have got no motivation other than to stop this pandemic. If you think they're on, you're a freaking idiot. You're an idiot. Just
that is the thing. It's like the motivation. I keep reading this stuff about this is just benefiting the rich, and don't get me wrong, a lot of rich people have made a lot of money over the last year or so. I mean, Amazon's CEO went from being a billionaire to being a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the rich get rich. That is what happens, and it fluctuates. But the rich, that level, they just make money. They just keeps going to them. Now that's a whole different thing. But you got to think about it. It's like the governments and people like that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of our government. I think there's been some massive mistakes made. But the one thing I would say is when we started this pandemic, we went into lockdowns and stuff like that. They literally cut their own throats to try and stop this pandemic, and yet people are still of the opinion that they're part of the kind of conspiracy. So every government in the world is cutting their own throats financially with stuff to what? To aid billionaires? It literally doesn't make sense. No. It's like you're reaching for some vindication to your opinion. And if you're afraid of getting the vaccine and you're afraid of this, and this is how you deal with it, okay, that's fine, whatever. I'm not here to convince anyone to do something they don't want to do. But to just spread total nonsense, we're going to keep calling you out. Like, if people come on the page and spread crap of any description on any topic, they get booted. And we've done that from day one. We just don't engage and we boot you. And from this week, I'm going to do the same on this. If you're going to talk absolute nonsense and try and spread that nonsense to other people, you're just going to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to engage anymore. No. You're just gone, because it's not even a question of like if someone comes on and just goes like, oh, I don't think this is right. I don't believe this. Whatever. That's your opinion. If someone's literally trying to share links and stuff like that, you're going to be gone.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it.
No.
But anyway, right, we are now going to move on. There is a game of football. Bizarre.
As we speak.
Yeah, as we speak now. As we record, it is Thursday the 16th of December, and our game this evening against Leicester City at Leicester is going ahead. The reason why I've said that as we record is because both clubs have tried to get this game called off. Leicester have a small outbreak of COVID in their camp, and have also, combined with injuries, mean that 9 of their first choice 11 are out.
Wow.
Yeah. We still don't know Antonio Conte was very clever in his press conference yesterday and revealed nothing.
Yeah, he'd be a great poker player, wouldn't he?
He really would. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play him. Yeah. Because everyone was like, team news, he's like, oh yeah, Romero's out injured, Lo Celso's back training after his injury and, could be available. But basically all those with COVID, we're assessing them all the time. We got to not only think about short-term, but their long-term recovery. Obviously, due to health matters, we don't reveal who these people are, and that was it. Bang, nailed. So team news tonight is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
No.
We could have players out and be completely out of the squad. The under-23 squad, of course, is still in isolation after an outbreak in the under-23 squad. I'm pleased to report that the young lad who was part of that squad, who was really unwell, is now absolutely fine, bouncing back. So that's great. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy ass situation. But the Leicester game is still on at the moment. Apparently, we tried to cancel it because we were trying to put the Rennes game in here. Leicester tried to cancel it because obviously they're currently having what we had, which is being decimated. And Brendan Rodgers went in 2-footed on the Premier League, by the way, and I think he's justified. Basically saying that the Premier League are bowing to broadcasters and contracts rather than putting the players' safety and health first. I think he's got a valid point.
Did you see I think it was yesterday the Brentford manager came out and said that he thinks that this weekend's fixtures should just all be postponed, just to kind of give a reset,
give everyone a fire break,
give it a reset because it looks like every club is now suffering. And you may know more than me about this, but it looks like I don't know, but it appears that it's almost like the Premier League are just deciding that it's all very subjective what games gets postponed or not, because apparently Brighton had a few cases and they tried to get that game against Wolves postponed. But is there a number, or is it just a subjective thing that
it is supposed there isn't a set number. The Premier League, unlike UEFA, didn't set it out in rules and basically did it that way. And it's one of those things that when it's working for you, it's great, and when it's working against you, it's not. So, for example, we had our games cancelled, and it worked for us because we basically said, look, we've got an outbreak, we've got an undetermined number at the moment. The government, because we've got an outbreak, the rule is we have to shut down this part of the training ground, give it a deep clean before people can return to work here. So we can't train. And the Premier League went, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right, you can't. That's fine, we'll postpone these games. Now, or postpone this game. Now, what Brighton are saying is they did the same thing. They came to them and said, oh, we got this problem, but their training ground was still open because they didn't have the same numbers we did, and the Premier League said no. Now, there's no rule that says when the training ground is closed, that's it. That's when you can't, possibly field a team. And there's no rule around the number of people infected, which is why Brighton and I think one other club have gone, all right, so it's one rule for one team and one rule for another. Because clearly, if we were Man City or Chelsea, you'd have let us postpone the game.
But do you know what? Watford have an outbreak, and that game was postponed against Burnley, wasn't it? And Watford on.
That's the thing. No, that's the thing I was about to come on to. But there is no. I can understand why they're feeling hard done by, but at the same time, there doesn't appear to be any set reason. And the other thing, of course, it could be, and I will caveat this because I don't know enough about it, but clubs don't want, and the players don't want, their personal medical stuff in the press. So they don't want, so for example, the players at Tottenham who had COVID and stuff, we actually don't know. I've been told several names, I'm sure lots of people have, but there's been no statement. The club's not gone, these 10 players all tested positive on day one, these 5 on day 2, because they don't do that, and I don't think any club does. So because of that, it could be a case of Watford have gone, look, we got 15 players out, and they've gone, wow, okay, postpone.
Yeah.
Brighton might have gone, we've got 2, and they went, no, you've got a whole squad,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but they're 2 really good ones. It doesn't matter. You see my point? We don't know. We don't have a clue. Now, if, for example, all of this was in the public domain and we all looked at it and went, well, hang on a minute, Watford have had their game cancelled with 3 players out, and Brighton, they were told no and they had 5, that makes no bloody sense, but we don't. So I'd like to assume that there is some sort of common sense factor played into it, where clearly Watford couldn't field a team, and it ain't their fault, same as us. Whereas with Brighton, they possibly looked at it and went, yeah, you can.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, it's similar with Leicester tonight. Leicester can field a team tonight because the vast, they got 9 first-team players out, but 4, 5 of them, I think, are injuries. So
Brendan Rodgers was trying to say, wasn't he, that although they're not technically COVID related, he said they are, because they're having to play players that where other players have got COVID, so they're forced to play players that maybe aren't 100% fit, and it's so you can kind of see his point, can't you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I do see his point of view, and it is a situation, and again, I do think that it should have been postponed, but the league have said it's going ahead. So as of right now, because the funny thing is, of course, both teams are testing this morning, and Leicester do currently have an outbreak. We currently have an outbreak. So if by lunchtime both clubs submit their test results and go, holy, everybody's got it, then the game ain't going ahead.
And the thing is, what you got to bear in mind as well, Sam, is that so all these clubs are having outbreaks like Watford, Brighton, Spurs, Man United. So it's clear that, look, football's a contact sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if every team just has a massive, I think the I forget his name, and it's annoying me that I forgot the Brentford manager.
Oh right, yeah. I know what you mean.
Oh God, I've forgotten his name, but I think he's got a really good point, because it does appear that it's just spreading amongst the whole league, isn't it? And then, like you say, there needs to be a fire break, doesn't there? There needs to be a look. Let's just stop here. Let everyone just let's close. Let's all 20 Premier League teams close down their training centres for a week, and let's just reset this. No contact with any other teams, and that. And I know, obviously, the Premier League wouldn't do it because it's going to really mess up their schedule, and like you say, the TV, but. If common sense wise and health wise, I think that's the best thing to do, really.
No, I agree with you. The manager's name's Thomas Frank, by the way.
There we go, Thomas Frank. Apologies, mate.
I was going to annoy you, so
I know. Thank you. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But I think it needs to happen. I think it really does, and it's weird because, look, I know we're trying to avoid talking about COVID, but it's so prevalent at the moment.
It's right there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the news channels are always putting on how many cases there are.
Yeah.
And look, we talk about people not testing and people testing. There's 71 confirmed test positive. These aren't including the people that aren't testing, So it's running absolutely rampant at the moment, isn't it?
It is, and football, all sports are going to be impacted by it.
Of course, of course.
They're trying to avoid what we call, where we get fixture pile-ups again. I mean, we are heading right into a fixture pile-up. There's no doubt in that. But I want to circle back, because obviously I said about the reason why we were trying to postpone the Leicester game. At the time of recording this, and I am just going to double check whilst I'm speaking, we are awaiting the UEFA decision on our future in Europe. Looking. Is it? No, nothing yet.
Oh, come on! Stop keeping us in suspense, UEFA.
Keeping us in suspense. No, it was due at 9 a.m. Central European time. That's long gone. So clearly it's not been done yet. I don't know where this is going to go. I thought it was kind of cut and dry when I first looked at it, and we're done. We're out. We couldn't fulfill the fixture. It's a 3-0 defeat. And don't get me wrong, that could still very much be the easiest out for UEFA to do that. So the path of least resistance, potentially, but I think we as a club have kind of made it clear that no, you do that and we are going to fight it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They're obviously, the reason why it's taking so long is the lawyers have obviously been involved, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think because it would appear, and again, this is how much is in this. I only know this from press and putting it together. We bent over backwards to play this game. We offered to move the game to France and travel to France to play it. We offered to move countless, do different things. We offered lots of dates, and Rennes simply said no. They got a winter break coming up, and they not compromising on that at all. to me, that's where the problem is, because UEFA have then got this situation where Rennes cannot be punished for this. Like, there's no way of getting it Rennes. They're through, they're qualified. The team that's going to end up getting punished is Vitesse. They're waiting to find out what it's going to do. And from Vitesse's point of view, they're not happy that the game didn't happen on the same night, because we now know what we have to do. It's kind of a scenario where we know if we go out, we win, we're through. And Vitesse, obviously, you get rid of that tension of not knowing what's going on in the other game and all that nonsense. But, that aside, the best way for this to happen is for the game to be played, even if it's in January. Now, UEFA have a rule that all fixtures must be fulfilled by the end of the calendar year for this section of all their tournaments. But it's their rule. So UEFA can suspend that in these circumstances if they wish. But it's whether the best scenario for all is that a game of football gets played. Because if a game of football gets played and they beat us, that's it. We just have to go out. Yeah, it's fair. But if we win, then based on all the games in the group, we go through. And that's it. And that is the only fair way. For me, anyway. But we shall wait and see.
I know that the theme of the podcast is dodgy opinions, but what do you make of the opinion of... There seems to be quite a prevalent opinion of, who cares? Let them have the 3-0. Let Vitesse go through. It's a shitty competition anyway. I don't get that. I don't get that opinion.
We kind of discussed it a little bit last week, and I'm like you. I don't get it. There's two parts of it that I've never quite understood, and I never quite understood it around the Europa League either, because people say that about that competition as well. Like, if it's not the Champions League, it's not worth being in. Just bomb it out and focus on getting back into the Champions League. So it's European football. European football brings with it additional revenue. The prize money for the Champions League is obviously on its own. The Europa League prize money is a fraction. Like, we're talking a real fraction of the Champions League. And the Europa Conference League, the prize money is next to nothing. But it is a European trophy. And I think we also have a generation of fans who aren't used to having 3 European competitions. I like, for me, that was normal. The European Cup, UEFA Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup. That was, so for me, that was the way it should always be. And, UEFA Cup became the Europa League, and the Cup Winners' Cup they did away with, which I still think sucks. I like that competition.
I seem to remember Arsenal being in it quite a lot. Do you know when Europe wasn't even a thing for us?
They were, yeah. I remember Naeem lobbing David Seaman.
Oh yes,
yeah. Because the headline was Naeem lobs Seaman, and I always thought that was hilarious.
Your mind, Sam. Your mind.
It was Naeem lobs Seaman for Cup glory, and I was kind of like, that's a headline. That's fantastic. But anyway, moving on.
Changing the subject.
Moving on quickly before I get cancelled. I don't get it. I mean, I think the kind of view is that Champions League and the top 4, because I did engage a couple of people on this, and they kind of expressed it as, as a club, we need to build and get back better, and we can't do that without the Champions League money and stuff like that. And my kind of response is, as a club, when we were in the Champions League for several seasons, did you notice a sudden change in club mentality and stuff that meant that we were suddenly buying at the top table and acting like a top club? Because I sure as hell didn't.
Yeah.
And for as long as we've got the owners that we've got, I don't think that's ever going to change. And I've kind of accepted that. It hurts, but I've kind of accepted it, because I think if I didn't accept it, I couldn't follow the club. Like, I couldn't find any joy, because I'd constantly be angry. Whereas, because I've accepted that, I try and find the joy in a cup run. I try and find the joy in, like, unexpected success and in the way we play and stuff. Otherwise, like I said, I'd be doing my own head in constantly.
Yeah, of course.
And perhaps that's why a lot of people are so angry on our page on a regular basis. Perhaps they've not accepted that. And I'm not saying I'm in the right. I'm just saying that's how I've chosen to do it. But the thing with this is, like, this is the first ever Europa Conference League. It's the first ever time this tournament's held. And I've said it from day one. So whoever wins this will be the first club to ever win this trophy. And it's a European trophy. It is as valid as any other European trophy, main trophy. It's got a lot of clubs in it. You look at the next knockout round and stuff, there's not a club in it that you don't go, who the f*** are they? You know all the teams that are in it, and if you're a fan of football anyway, you'll know all the teams that are in it. So like any tournament, as you go through it, the teams are going to get better, which is the same. But also, playing in Europe, being involved in European competition, has an impact on a thing called your European coefficient. It's a really complicated system, and I've been trying to read up a lot about it because changes to European football are coming, and qualification for these tournaments would appear that you're going to have, in the not too distant future, wildcard entries. If no one's familiar with what a wildcard entry is, I imagine a fair few fans of ours from America will know this a lot better than anyone from Europe.
Tennis fans as well.
Yeah, tennis fans, yeah, exactly. yeah. Good, thanks, Matt. Bringing it back. It's basically say you Tottenham finish 5th next season. You're not in the Champions League. We finish 5th. However, the new system coming in with our UEFA coefficient could give us a wildcard entry into the qualifiers for the Champions League. And at the moment, our coefficient's quite high. We've been playing European football consistently for 10 years, I think. I think we've missed one season in the last 15.
Wow.
And we've done that. We've been consistent. And not only that, is we played a good few seasons in the Champions League and reached the final. That gave us a pretty hefty thumbs up in the whole coefficient rankings. It really did. And because of that, currently, if they applied the rules that are coming now, last season, we'd have been bumped from our place from where it is, potentially all the way to the qualifiers of the Champions League, even though we finished 7th or 6th. 6th we finished. So that's the impact that is going to have. Now, there's a lot of stuff about it at the moment because I know, for example, a lot of clubs aren't happy with that, and I completely agree with them. You know, it basically means that clubs that have historically done well in Europe will have an advantage over a new emerging team that have put together a side and are doing well. So, like, for example, we finished 6th, Newcastle finished 5th, for example, we'd get the bump. We'd get the wild card, they wouldn't. That obviously pisses them off. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and in its current model, I don't know if that's how it would be implemented, but I want to do more reading on it so we can talk about it a bit more on the show, because it is interesting. It is something that's worthwhile. People, if you're not aware of it, you do need to become aware of it, because it's going to impact European qualification a lot. But being bombed out of the Europa Conference League at the earliest, round ain't going to help our coefficient at all.
Yeah, of course.
So playing European football, it's what we want to be doing. And Conte's one of the top managers, and he wants to be in the tournament. But the one thing I'd say is about the attitude of fans towards the tournament. I think a lot of that stems from the way the media portray it as like, oh, what the hell's this crap? Because they do. They talk about it like that in every context. But even Brendan Rodgers, Leicester have dropped out of the Europa League down into the Europa Conference League, and when he was asked about that, he just went, I know nothing about this tournament. I didn't even know we were going to be in it. How can you be the manager of a Premier League club and not be aware?
And the thing is as well, look, don't get me wrong, look, I know Leicester in very, very recent history have won the Premier League and the FA Cups. They've won a couple of good trophies, but they're hardly in a position to kind of act like that, are they?
Well, they would argue they've got more of a position than we have, I'd expect. Oh yeah,
no, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, you can imagine Pep Guardiola saying it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, if Man City were to cascade all the way down to the Europa Conference League, I think Pep Guardiola would have every reason to go, really? What? What the hell's that? When did that come out? I've never heard of it. However, the thing I would say is I don't think he would. I think Pep Guardiola would go, and we're going to win it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We've performed badly, but the team need to realise that, and now we're going to win this, because we're good. But it's weird. Like for me, it's like a you see the Spanish teams and stuff like that win the Europa League on a regular basis. It's because they treat it like a real competition. They treat it as a prestigious trophy. They genuinely want to win it. the German clubs, other clubs like that, they treat it with the respect. In this country, it's looked down on. We have such an overinflated opinion of our own league that only the Champions League is good.
Yeah.
Everything else is crap. I mean, how many times do you hear, but it's a farmers' league?
Yeah, of course.
About any other top flight, and it's bonkers. I don't get it. It's like a really odd thing. But yeah, so that's the Conference League. Mate, we are continuing on this podcast to try and encourage our male friends and any female listeners who have partners. I wouldn't suggest this a gift for Dad. I think that'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be a bit awkward, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely not a stepdad. That'd be really weird. But yeah, we are promoting the good people at manscaped.com. It's holiday season, and that means there are stockings to be stuffed and elves to be cuffed. Well, today's sponsor, Manscaped.com, has gone global with the tools that guarantee you will score under the tree and the mistletoe. Manscaped is the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. And if my math's correct, that's almost exactly 8 million balls. Get 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with code SNPOD. Do you like my Christmas promo, mate?
Yeah.
I recorded that. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, I do.
So yes, you have you had a go on your nose trimmer?
I have.
The old
I have,
trimmer,
mate. Yeah. I part of the reason that was stopping me from doing it was I was thinking it's my acceptance that I'm middle-aged now, you know.
Yes.
But at some point I need to embrace it, and I thought, do you know what? Let's embrace it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm at an age like we've discussed where this is a very important piece of equipment, and it is fantastic. It is really. I loved using it.
Yeah, no, it does the thing. So I got sent a box of Manscaped stuff, and I've never opened it. Right, you're a modern man. You've got like the Del Boy book of like, you know, yeah, I do these things. I kind of just looked at the description of this and went, what? No. And it's sat there. Now, I said jokingly to one of my friends the other day about this and everything. He said, oh, next time you're on your podcast, you ought to do an unboxing. And so I looked at him with that look of, I'm 38, you idiot. Explain what the hell unboxing is.
Oh, come on, Sam. Have you not heard of an unboxing? Even I know that what unboxing is.
Yeah, so basically live on some sort of show, whether it's Twitch. I know what Twitch is. Yeah. Oh, yeah, my daughter. Yeah, TikTok, whatever. You basically open the box and you live react to what's in the box.
Yeah.
And he thinks me doing that and going through the descriptions and looking at these products will be hilarious.
Yes, YouTube, Sam. YouTube.
Yeah, well, I was going to add it to our Christmas special. The Sam opens Manscaped box and tries to work out what the hell's going on. Yeah, like caveman enters 21st century. Oh, me no shave there. Yeah. So there we go. That's that. But yeah, the good people at Manscaped continue to sponsor the show. Thank you very much. We will continue to promote their wares and talk about it. I'll tell you what, the boxer shorts are nice though. Did you get the free pair of boxer shorts?
I did. They're very comfortable.
They are, aren't they? I like them.
Do you know what you were saying though about the awkwardness of possibly buying it as a gift for your parents? Well,
yes.
Do you remember that? I don't know if it came with the package, or you sent it to me, but it's a T-shirt. Looking after my ball. I can't even wear that. I can't wear that around the house. I can't. I don't want to bring up the conversation with two small children.
No.
Why does your T-shirt say balls on it, Dad?
Yeah, balls. Yeah, I got given a Christmas T-shirt with "Suck my balls." Now I thought it was hilarious. Apparently, in the local post office, no one else thinks so.
Oh really? Are you banned? Yeah. There's a ban being lifted yet?
Not banned, but the lady behind the counter just sort of read my T-shirt and then pulled a face and didn't talk to me again. She just kind of pointed. It's like, oh, all right, fair enough. Clearly, she's not interested.
No, there you go.
Yeah, so everybody go and buy Manscaped products. You can find the code in the description for the podcast. The more you buy, the more likely they are to renew our sponsorship. I don't think they're going to be honest with you, but I said that last time and it worked. So, yeah, bit of reverse psychology. We have a new one of these for next week, by the way, because obviously this is the last one for Christmas, because if you want to buy it and get it shipped in time. But we have a New Year's promo. I sent it to you to do a read, but you had COVID. Do you remember it?
Oh my God, yeah. Yes, I'll find it. Don't worry. I'll find it.
Because I lost it.
Okay. No, don't worry.
So I really hope you've got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. We've done our Manscaped promo, our contractually obliged Manscaped promo. It's now time for questions from the social media.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
Okay, my friend, we've got stuff from Instagram and we've got stuff from Facebook. Where do you want to start?
Let's we'll do what we always do. Instagram first.
We go to the lovely people at Instagram.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. We open with the Johnny Stark. Hello, my friend. Do you think Delhi still cares about football? Man, that's a loaded question to kick off. Damn. Matt, go on. What do you think?
Can I just say, talking about Delhi, did you see that thing, that news clipping I sent you from 2017?
Yeah.
I mean, it was from the Sun, so I mean, it's like you can take everything with a pinch of salt. But at the time, it said Delhi is according to, I can't remember what it was, some scientific study or something.
It's basically the transfer market has a. Because of how crazy it is and how much money it is, there is a whole financial institute dedicated
there you go.
to transfer fees and calculations based on their contract length and all of this stuff. And yeah, sorry, you were saying, so the Sun did an article based on these people saying that Delhi would be worth...
He's basically the second most valuable football player in the world behind Neymar at £198 million.
Yeah,
and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, and now we're looking at a loan deal with Newcastle where they might buy him for 50 quid. Yeah,
and give us one of those bobbleheads that you like.
Oh, love it. We could get a Jermaine Genius in a Newcastle shirt bobblehead from
there.
There
you go.
That'd be nice.
And 50 quid, and we'd be lucky to get that for him.
Yeah, depressingly, yeah. I don't know about Delhi and football. I generally can't answer that. But what I can say is that under Mauricio Pochettino, he started to decline slightly, but then the whole squad was. So it's hard to read into that. But then you've had 3 other managers work with him on a daily basis and have decided he ain't good enough.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. That's it. And it's heartbreaking because I think when it's a young player especially, even though he didn't come from the academy and we signed him, there's something that attaches you to that a little bit, like you're kind of on that ride with them. It kind of feels like you're part of that experience and you've seen him grow up. And Delhi's always been kind of the way he speaks in interviews and stuff, I've always responded well to it. I've always thought he came across really well. Seems like a really nice kid. So it's very difficult to then turn around and be kind of like, nah, you gotta go. But I think for too long the club have held on to players on hopefully they'll come good. I think we need to be more ruthless.
Yeah.
I do think that. And me as a fan, that goes against how I feel, but I think as a club we have to, because we've tried it the nice way. We've tried, don't worry about it. We'll put our arm around you. Here's a nice new contract. We'll get through this bad patch together. And it hasn't worked.
No.
And so for him as well, I think he has to go. I think if he genuinely loves playing football, he'll move this January and we'll see a new Delhi appear, or perhaps the old Delhi appear. If, like Johnny sort of asked the question, if he generally has fallen out of love with football, then why would he move? He's earning a bloody fortune, living in London, living his best life. He won't be motivated to move, and we'll see him run his contract out and then earn a fortune going abroad when his contract's gone. But I think there's still part of him that has a bit of fire to him, and I think he'll move.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
It's a shame. I mean, like when you was talking about Delhi, the old Delhi,
Yeah.
and I just reminisce of, like, the Crystal Palace goal and
Oh,
some like one
brilliant.
that goal he scored against Everton. Toby set him up. He was just such a like Chelsea. I mean, like how many years
Yeah,
had we
yeah.
gone without winning that freaking Stamford Bridge?
And Delhi just stuck it to him
Yeah.
on a regular basis. I mean,
Yeah.
there's one of my favourite photos of Delhi is he's celebrating in front of the Chelsea fans, and basically you can zoom in on every fan's middle finger, two fingers, calling him a wanker, everything, like just pure vitriol, and he stood in front of him like.
It's just awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad one, but we have to be more ruthless. The next question's from a man with his own theme. Well, yeah, screw it, I'll put it in there. It's a man with his own theme.
He's a man, such a man,
Such a man.
he's a real man's man.
I need to do a new one for him, because at the moment, every time... So that clip's 10 seconds, if that, I think. I don't know, roughly, that little theme for him. And it basically means every time we put this podcast on YouTube, they earn money from it. And it ain't even a question of like, oh, we don't earn, because we don't earn anyway, so I don't monetize it. But when we get to a point where I am going to monetize it, then that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
so
it's not fair.
no, it's not fair. We do like an hour podcast. They're on it for 10 seconds and they earn like £3 every time it gets played. But anyway, so the Mountain Man, with no football and talk over the past, so no football to talk about over the past week, I'd like to know your personal top 3 favourite Tottenham players of all time and why. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to the boozy Christmas special. Yeah, I got that to talk about in a bit. Top 3 Tottenham players of all time. Man, that's tough.
Yeah. Do you know it was a couple of players' birthdays recently, wasn't it? Chris Waddle's. Was it Chris Waddle's birthday recently?
Yeah, it was Waddle's birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I put him in my top 3, but I can remember.
I'll tell you what, Matt.
Go on.
Mountain Man. We're going to park this question and we're going to think about it and we're going to do this on the Christmas special.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, top 3 Spurs players. I'm making notes. That's frightening. If I forget.
Do them in big letters, especially if we're going to be drinking.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Right then, we're heading over to Facebook. In Facebook we have James Campbell. James says, what are your thoughts so far on Conte's 3-4-3 formation? Do you think we'll always play the same way against all opponents, even players like Davies and Sanchez venturing forward from deep versus Norwich? Or do you think we'll be a bit more conservative against tougher opposition?
I don't know, but I would hazard a guess that he's going to stick with the same formation because it's the Conte formation, really. And also, a lot of the players are really settling in well.
Yeah, I think formation and system wise, I can't see it changing. I think he's very happy and very settled, and this is how he wants his teams to play. I think the point James is making there about would we see the same kind of marauding forward from Sanchez Davies like we did against Norwich, against say Man City, and I don't think we would.
Oh no, completely. You can't get away with it. They just destroy you if you did that, They
do, and I think that's the flexibility in the system. With that formation and with the way the players set up, you can be very rigid, very solid, or you can be quite fluid, which means that from game to game we play the same personnel and the same formation, but can play very differently.
Yeah.
Which I think is an advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one's from Michael Jasper Annis. It says Jack, and then in brackets, aged, smiley face with glasses, wants to know how much has Spurs improved since we got our new manager?
Massively.
Yeah, massively.
I appreciate that the opposition we've had. Like we've no disrespect to like the likes of Norwich and Brentford and Leeds.
Yeah.
You kind of expect us to beat these teams anyway, but I feel like it's not just the results. It's the kind of the mindset almost of the players and the feeling that, like, as you know, I go to these games and it feels more positive. It feels like we've got this buzz about the club at the moment. So I think even silly things, and I think I might have mentioned this before, like that the music's changed before the game, and it's like I feel like he's just bringing in this fresh buzz, and I think there's been a big improvement since he's come.
I agree with you. I think it's very visible. Next up is Ryan Miller. Ryan says, do you think Levy will stand by the 150 million for Kane, or based on his form so far this season drop that asking price? I think we should hold out for that 150 million, but I've fallen out of love with him since the summer, and I'm of the same opinion as Sam. Oh dear, Ryan, don't want to be the same opinion as me. You get hate mail, mate. But yeah,
it's not 150 million now anyway, is it?
Because his contract's whittling away. So no, the 150 million was in the summer. He had 3 years left on his deal. If someone comes to us with 100 million in January, I think we'd consider it. And next summer, the same. 100 million is probably the value for him next summer. The following summer, it'd be about 50 million, and then the following summer, he can leave. Yeah. So, good luck to him. Hopefully, he gets his big payday and gets to go and win like a Europa Conference League or something.
I've said this though, Sam. I've said this, and I genuinely mean it. I wouldn't be upset if he just let his contract run at zero, and then at 31 go to Man City or someone, just win. Give us 10 years, didn't cost us anything. Haven't made anything from him. He's broke all the records.
That happens, but at the same time, the way he's playing this season, I don't want him to spend another 2 years at the club doing this.
Yeah, I need to reassess my prediction for the amount of goals he's going to the this season. Can I change that, Sam?
Nope. I wrote it down. It is in the log, my friend. The next question on here is from John Coy's Hotspur. John, you've got like the best middle and last name for a Tottenham fan in history, my friend. That's incredible.
His parents are obviously Spurs fans.
Big time. John, I've just looked at your kind of question. Essay, which is fine. I don't mind. You're actually talking about the European qualification coefficient, which is what we just talked about. So I've kind of already answered. So I apologise that I didn't get to your question first. I've preempted you. But if anyone wants to learn more about that, John's kind of written pretty decent synopsis. So yeah, that's on the page. Martin Webb says, in light of the COVID outbreaks, have the club nutritionists at any point looked at vitamin D and zinc supplementation specifically, as it means trying to protect against these sorts of things?
I feel like that's a bit of a loaded comment.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that, Martin. Martin, I am neither a health expert nor a member of the club's staff, but I think it's safe to say that their interest is in the players being healthy and able to play football.
Of course it would be.
So if there's any treatments or anything at all which is clinically proven or even anecdotally proven to help, I am sure they are doing it.
Yeah, well said.
Tom Perks, with a maximum price per player of 40 million, who would you buy from each club in the top half of the league in January? Guess what next week's question will be? Tom, you want us to go through every club in the league and pick one player from each club we'd like to buy. I'll tell you what, Tom, that's going on the Christmas show as well. We ain't got time to do that this week.
I'll tell you one player
but a max of 40 million does rule out a fair few.
I was going to say, can we get De Bruyne for 40 million? Do you see him against Leeds? He's just unreal, isn't he?
Do you ever have these players that play for other clubs that you just think, you're a special football player, but then you also have some, and for no reason at all, you don't like them?
Well, who's you thinking?
Well, Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is one of the best players I've ever watched play football since he came back to the Premier League with Man City. The guy's brilliant. His passing range, his shooting, everything about his set piece delivery, everything about that guy's class. I cannot work out why I don't like him. Yeah. But I don't. I look at him and I think, God, you look annoying. But like, you'll see him interviewed. He seems lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot tell you why it is. It's something I need to work out. Because clearly, he must remind me of someone I went to school with or something who I didn't like. I got no idea.
Do you know? I kind of see what you're saying. It's really odd.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, some people just have that face, don't they?
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Yeah, some people have a face you want to smack.
Yeah, for no reason.
No reason at all. I'll tell you my biggest one for that, a semi-famous person, is Alan Titchmarsh. I would level that guy, and I cannot tell you why. Like, literally, I could just walk up and plant him. Get it? And I can't tell you what. Like, the guy's never done anything to me or my family. The guy seems perfectly charming in everything he does, but there's something about him that I literally, like, I clench my fist when he's on TV. I don't know what it is.
Would it make any difference if his last name wasn't Titchmarsh? Do you think that's
maybe he's like Alan Dale?
If it's called
right,
Alan Smith or something,
yeah. No, not Alan Smith.
Oh, there you go. Like, yeah,
pissed out as well. Why does he do every Tottenham game?
I know.
Why do we have a Gooner legend basically commentate on us constantly?
And then you look at, like, I'm fortunate enough to watch the Arsenal West Ham game. It's the only one that was half decent. And then you go back to the thingamajig, the commentary, the box at half time.
Pundits,
yeah. And there was a Gooner on there. I can't think who it was. It was definitely a Gooner, and I was like everywhere. Like, they've got the Gooner commentating, the Gooner in the commentary box, And...
No, I'm with you. It's weird. I don't get it. But yeah, Alan Smith. I don't know. Who knows? But he does, because like, there was this point where Jermaine Genius was on BT for Tottenham every Tottenham game. And he got accused of being biased, and now because of that, he goes so far the other way.
Anti-Tottenham now, isn't he? Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, it is ridiculous how far he goes to try and prove he's not biased. So there's like no one I listen to at any point who fights our corner. I'll tell you what, the only person I've heard in a long time fight our corner was Roy Keane, and then he followed it up with, "I wouldn't pay to watch Tottenham anymore. They're boring." And I was like, all right, that's fair. Okay, all right. Under Nuno, yeah, we suck. All right, fair enough, Roy. But he was like the only one I ever saw sort of lay in.
Do you know, just briefly as well, this is how much the freaking scumbags are reaching at the moment, how desperate they are. I saw, Tom Holland, the Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man,
he's a massive Tottenham fan, yeah. So he jokingly asked Mbappe
he did,
if it's time for Spurs. Right, and it come up on my timeline from an Arsenal page, Tottenham, the gift that keeps on giving. Mbappe laughs at idea of joining Spurs. I'm like, is that the gift that keeps on giving? I mean, you're reaching. You're reaching.
If someone had asked him to join Arsenal, he wouldn't have laughed. He just looked at him and gone, "Oh my God, you're unwell."
I mean, they're not even in Europe.
Yeah. Why? I've never heard of that team. Who are you talking about? Yeah, no, he's French. Of course, he's heard of them. Yeah. No, I ain't fussed with stuff like that. I thought it was funny. It is funny, and anyone who doesn't think it's funny needs to get a sense of humour corrected. It's funny. He got asked by Tom Holland to come and join Tottenham. I mean, he might as well have said to him Rotherham. He'd have got the same. What are you on about? No, it's impossible. I'm going to go to Real Madrid and earn like nearly $500,000 a day. Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. I'd even bankrupt Joe Lewis with my to pay the money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Joe Lewis said meet him on his yacht. I thought he was giving me the yacht. Otherwise, no. Joe Lewis is buying a new yacht, by the way. That'll please everyone.
What's his third one this month, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to call it the SS Fuck Football, I think. Anyway, on my notes here it says promote Christmas special. So everyone listen, we got a Christmas special coming up, and I need to promote it. So December, as we live and breathe today, is the 16th. So the 23rd will be the Christmas special. So that is next week's show.
Awesome.
Next week is the Christmas special. It's going to be me and you. No one else joining us this year. Just me and you. We're going to have a laugh. I've got party games. Now, I wanted to try and do it live. And I've tried to look into this. And I cannot find a way to do it where it will work properly. So in essence, for me to edit stuff in and for me to do stuff, I need to buy some kit, and I ain't doing that. It's Christmas. I ain't got time. If nothing else. So that is going to be my New Year's resolution, that we will find a way to do live shows next year.
Awesome.
So this one is going to be recorded. Me and you need to work out when we're going to record it, because the plan was to basically have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
But
I
can't do that at 9 in the morning.
Well, Christmas Eve's the 20th. So I finish work at 8 o'clock in the evening on that Thursday, and then I'm off for 3 days for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day. So I don't know what your plans are, but an evening.
Yeah, so
drunken podcast to come out on the Christmas Eve.
So perhaps we record the night of the 23rd and put the show out actually on Christmas Eve.
There you go.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. All right. Me and you'll sort that out. We'll sort that out and we'll put it on the Facebook page. We'll let everyone know. But yeah, that's the Christmas special. It also says I have to promote fans. Oh yeah. So one of the things we're going to do next season is we're going to get fans of the podcast to come on and be our third. So Step In Stefan's done it a number of times. Other people have joined us and we've done a show with someone as the third person. Would you like to be involved? Let us know. There are certain things we have to set up to be able to do it. So, yeah, get in touch. Email me, sam@spursnews.co.uk, or message the Facebook page if you're interested, and we'll set that up. Also going to be doing some interviews and stuff next year as well, but that's next year. I'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, completely.
Other than that, good luck to everyone tonight, who's hopefully, whoever's fit enough to go are really fit enough to go and play. Fingers crossed we can name a strong team, and fingers crossed we can get another win, because momentum was certainly turning in our favour before this.
Completely.
And I'm desperate for us to kick it back into gear.
Well, hopefully the ones that, like you said, we don't know the players that have got it, and hopefully it's, the big ones are the ones that haven't got it, and we can put a big strong squad out tonight.
That'd be good. That'd be very good. But anyway, my friend, until next week in the Christmas special, you take care. Everyone listening, come on, you Spurs.
Take care, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.